With the Xiaomi Redmi 5A showing up in global sales charts, I think Realme had to do something to get some of that pie. With the Realme C1 last year, Realme already showed that you could create a good looking phone for dirt cheap price. This year's Realme C2 comes at an even lower price, looks I think better than the Realme C1 and offers much more than other competitors at this price. But how good is this in actual life? Well, hey, this is Sreehari from Mr. Phone and this is a full review of the Realme C2. Hit subscribe, there a bell come in the side, hit that and you will become general knowledge. Tech general knowledge. The Realme C2 is Realme's most affordable device. Now, at such a low price, brands use plastic and make it look like glass to make it look more premium. And even Realme is guilty of doing that. The Realme C2 takes a unique route and I believe an apt one, where it doesn't try to hide the fact that it's plastic but rather embraces it. The matte pattern back is one of the most unique looks that I've seen on a phone and is easily one of the grippiest. The Realme C2 also, because of the smaller form factor, is one of the most ergonomic designs today that I've seen from phones in India. I think coming to ergonomics, the Redmi Go isn't far behind either. Both these phones, being smaller in size, have great ergonomics. The buttons look clicky enough as well. It's certainly not flagship grade, but it's better than what you'd expect at this price. You get a micro USB port at the bottom flanked by a headphone jack and a single speaker grill. You also get a triple slot design, so 2 SIMs and 1 micro SD card. If you want to know about the performance of the headphone jack and the speaker grill, it's there. That's what the performance is, because at this price, even the fact that you get a good enough speaker and a headphone jack is not bad. And Realme generally doesn't compromise on things like this. You'll get good output out of the headphone jack and the speaker grill. Coming to display, the Realme C2 has a 720p plus panel. It's not 480p, it's not VGA, it's an IPS LCD 720p plus display stretching over a near 6-inch diagonal. The display also comes with a taller, modern aspect ratio with a water drop notch and a chin that's more than okay for the price. The colors are nice and fun and the icons just pop right out of the display. There is some color shift happening which would have been nice to not have. The color shift is really minute though, but it's there. The color temperature though is pretty accurate, and if you go and play with color temperature settings, I think you can get pretty solid accuracy on the display. The phone doesn't come with Wideband L1 certification, which is so unexpected at this price. Nah, just kidding. Just the fact that you can get such a good, crisp, bright display at this price is crazy. Compared to the Redmi Go, I think the Realme C2 easily wins the display round. Now coming to software, the Realme C2 runs ColorOS 6.0 based on top of Android 9 Pie, and it's quite standard with ColorOS. You get all the standard stuff. ColorOS 6.0 also comes with the option of an app drawer, so you don't have to compromise between having all the apps on the screen or having an app drawer. It's your choice. You also have the smart screen on the left of your home screen that shows you a few daily used apps. It shows you the calendar, all the events that are coming up. You have a step tracker, you have your favorite contacts, things like that. You go to the notification bar and you have all the easy toggles. You can mute your phone easily. You have all the standard stuff that you get with Android. Apart from that, even if you go into settings, Realme has done a lot of good stuff there. When it comes to navigation, Realme has different types of navigations that you can use. You can use the standard one with 3 buttons, that is the back button, the home button and the recents key. You also have the Android P type navigation with the pill and the back button, so you can use that as well. Or you have full gestures. Even in those gestures, you have a few options to go. So I think Realme has done a great job of doing that. And in the settings, if you go, you just have a ton of stuff to play with. Sadly, this phone does not come with a fingerprint sensor. There's no fingerprint sensor at the back, but there is face unlock. Realme has been known to do that with the first phone, the Realme 1. They did not have a fingerprint sensor. It came only with face unlock. And I think with face unlock, Realme has done a good job. It works pretty fine here and I don't miss the fingerprint scanner. That's it if you talk about software. Redmi Go comes with Android Go software from Google, which means that it's pretty clean. It's one of the lightest OS that you can find in a phone at this price. And when you have specs that are that low, you have to have an OS that's not taxing on the phone. Realme's ColorOS is nearly not as light as Redmi Go's Android Go. That said, the specs on the Redmi Go are also lower, and the Realme C2 has much better on the specs. And coming to specs, let's move into performance. Now, the Realme C2 comes with a Helio P22 inside at a price where even the Helio A22 feels like the VIP. It also comes with 2 gigs of RAM and 16 GB storage for the base variant. The higher variant comes with double the RAM and double the storage. The P20 is a very powerful processor, and for the price, from the benchmarks, it scores higher than a lot of phones at this price. Now, let's leave benchmarks out because that really doesn't go well here. I'll talk about two things. First, day-to-day performance. The Realme C2 is quite a smooth performer for the price. It's not the smoothest I've used. The Redmi Go indeed feels much more fluid overall. That said, I think the slight choppiness is a doing of the OS, because when you open apps, play games, do some photo editing, any of that stuff, the Realme C2 is quite significantly more powerful than the Redmi Go. For PUBG, the C2 unsurprisingly defaults to low graphics. The gameplay is nothing to boast about, but I think it's still playable. You might get dropped frames here and there, but I can assure you that you'll have lesser dropped frames compared to other phones at this price. Now, if you ask me to choose between Redmi Go and Realme C2 in the performance aspect, I'd choose the Realme C2 easily, since I have a more powerful processor inside, and the Redmi Go is only smooth because of the super lightweight OS. But that also make it feel less like an Android phone. A lot of apps don't run. It runs most of the light versions of the standard apps that you get. The Realme C2, on the other hand, is capable of running full version apps. Apart from that, earpiece performance, the cellular performance in fact has been as good as it can get at this price. I don't think you will have a problem with that. It supports dual VO LTE on both SIMs, so you have that option as well. So I think with performance, the Realme C2 is pretty unbeatable at this price. Now, coming to cameras, the Realme C2 comes with a 13 megapixel rear camera, that is the standard lens with the yellow ring, and the secondary camera is a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Now, getting a dual camera system at this price is already something that you can't expect. Apart from that, what surprised me much more was the camera quality. Now, honestly, I did not go in expecting a lot from it, and you kind of know what to expect from a phone at this price. Well, let me take you through these images once and we'll see what you have to say about that. The Realme C2 is a very capable camera for the price. I think looking at these images, what you can see is that the details look good. Even though there is a lot of over sharpening happening to compensate for the lack of natural details in the sensor, it looks good. There is a lot of saturation happening and oversaturation of colors happening along with the over sharpening, which makes the image sometimes look very unnatural. First of all, you can turn it off. You can actually go to the pro mode and click a picture, which means that you will not have any of these things happening in the image. Pro mode is there on this camera. Well, that's another thing to look at. You also have slow-mo on this camera. You have time lapse. Also, you have different options in the camera. Realme has worked a lot on its camera. The Realme C2 has clicked some amazing pictures, and I'm happy to see that the C2 is making good use of all that Realme camera algorithm that helped them create phones like the Realme 2 Pro and the 3 Pro that are camera beasts. Face tones especially, I think that is the first thing I noticed when I took pictures using this phone. Both the front camera and the back camera get face tones absolutely beautiful. I think I could not have expected to see a better picture out of a phone that costs 6,000 rupees. So I think when it comes to camera, I can safely say that the Realme C2 is the best camera phone under 6,000, eyes closed. Now, the Realme C2 comes with a 4000 mAh battery inside, and it's pretty damn good. The display is low resolution, the processor is pretty power efficient, which means that you have the perfect formula for a long battery life. For me, it was a 2-day phone, and I think with moderate usage, you can get that as well. The charger is a 10-watt charger. Now, generally with phones under 10,000 and even under 12,000, you don't get 10-watt chargers in the box. You generally get chargers that are 5 watts or maximum 6 watts. 10-watt charger for a phone that costs 6,000 is simply crazy. I've gotten very good charging times after this, as you can see on the screen right now. And I think with the 10-watt charger and the 4000 mAh battery, the Realme C2 is going to be a battery beast at this price. So I think the Realme C2 is an easy recommendation under 6,000, probably the easiest recommendation. The Realme C2 comes with most of the things that you can't expect under this price. Apart from that, if you compare it to its competitors, for example, first let's go to the Redmi Go, which I think is the biggest competitor. The Redmi Go comes with a lesser powerful processor. It does not come with as big a display and as good a display as the Realme C2. The design on the Redmi Go is for the most part, I'd say it's very uninspiring. You get a single camera setup and a camera that's not as capable as the Realme C2. The software is where the Redmi Go has a slight edge over the Realme C2 because it's slightly smoother because of the lightweight OS. It's also slightly more fluider to go through the OS. That said, I think due to a more powerful processor on this one, this is much better when it comes to performance. And you also have a higher 3GB RAM version that you can go for that sells for 7,999. Also, when I reviewed the Redmi Go, a lot of people talked about the Zolo Era 4X and the Lava Z61 in the comment section below. When I compared these phones to the Redmi Go, I think while the Zolo Era 4X and the Lava Z61 had slightly better specs in some sense, the Redmi Go still was a better phone for me and I would recommend it over those phones because of the overall experience. But when it comes to the Realme C2, I think at this price, at the 5,999 price, it's a true winner among all these phones, and I think the 5,999 price is really worth it. And if I have to recommend a phone to someone under 6,000 rupees, eyes closed, I'd recommend the Realme C2. And with that, we come to an end of this review. Let me know what you thought of this in the comment section below. If there's any feedback that you have, this table creaks. But if you have any feedback about anything apart from the table, let me know that in the comment section below. And also let me know if you want to see comparisons of this phone with any other phones. If you did not get to see, we've shown a few camera samples of the Redmi Go along with this one in this video. So go and check that out as well. But with that, I leave you to it. Thank you so much for watching. This is Sreehari from Mr. Phone and I'll catch you in the next one.